Hello, welcome back to the channel. So thanks everyone who's provided me some feedback on the last couple of videos. I've done 3 Red Dwarf videos so far and I've had a good amount of feedback. So today, before I jump into today's episode, which is called Waiting for God, I wanted to go into some information that may be good to know before we jump in. So first of all, episode 4 of season 1 was made on the 7th of March 1988. So as most of you know, the series is written by Rob Grant and Doug Naylor. This episode is written and produced by the series regular Ed Bye, so he worked on the show for quite a long time. So for a fun fact, this episode features the first proper scene with the scutters moving. Beforehand, they were kind of stationary, and then the props department didn't really believe they would work properly, but they did by episode 4. So this episode's themes is religion, so it's due to Lister being worshipped by the cats for many years before they left, and this episode also references the Alien franchise, which you'd notice if you sat down and watched the whole episode yourself.
The most interesting event that happened recently was that Lister pretended he'd passed the chef's exam, although really he failed.
So let's get into it. So this episode starts with Rimmer. He's in the drive deck trying to get Holly to tell him the reports on themselves. So he wants to know the logs and the reports about him and Lister. Little does Rimmer know that no one actually likes him. He finds out he's more hated than Lister, even though Lister's not hated. We cut to a scene of here, Lister eating in his bed. He's actually got a cat book, which is a sniff and smell. So rather than reading the book, he sniffs it, and it tells him what the book is, basically. So the toaster is basically trying to convince Lister to get some bread, to eat some toast, to eat bagels, but he doesn't want any of it. The toaster is a bit annoying. He's in here for sort of a comedy relief, and he's quite funny, actually. He annoys the actual ship themselves, but he's funny. He's a funny lad. He's telling them he don't want no crumpets, he doesn't want no toast, he doesn't want anything on it.
If you don't like toast.
I do like toast.
He finds out there's a pod out in space, which is in visual range to the actual Red Dwarf, so they're going to go and see what it is. Cut to a scene of Cat. Cat is literally doing some backflips, doing his standard cat stuff, making some noises. He's chatting to Rimmer. Rimmer wants to know what he's got in his hand, and he's actually got a yo-yo. You know, you gotta love the cat. He's just a complete Donny. You've got to love the cat. So when Lister comes back in the room, he's going to give the cat some milk, because he loves cats, of course. He finds Cat reading a book, and it's actually a book about himself. It's another scratch and smell book, but Lister realises the entire book, the entire religion of the book, is based on himself and the previous cat he had 1,000,000 years ago, before he got put in stasis. Earlier on, there was a report that they found a pod. Rimmer here is so excited for the pod, but Lister thinks, actually, I've seen these sorts of pods before, and it's nothing to be intrigued by. This is sort of an Alien reference with the pod and the third film, and the second film really, when they find the pod. The pod here is actually a Red Dwarf garbage dump. It's not anything special, and Rimmer's going to be heartbroken. Rimmer can't sleep, so he wakes up, he turns on the lights, and he wakes up Lister. He's so excited about what this pod's going to be. Is it going to be an alien? Is it going to be some artifacts? What will it be? He just can't decide, and he needs Lister to speak about it. So Lister's very tired. He goes up to the vending machine. Vending machine's played by Tony Hawk. Not the skater, but the actual actor Tony Hawk. So after he's had the holy book from Cat, he thinks, where has Cat gone? He asks Holly and he wants to find him. Cut to the scene, we've got Cat here. We've found out where Cat actually lives, or used to live before he found the crew. He is along with one other cat human who is very, very religious. He believes that Cloister, aka Lister, is the god. He believes that he's let them down. He doesn't even think the religion is real anymore. And that's when we see Lister walk into the room with the holy donut on his head, with the golden donut, and he is the god. His faith has came back on his deathbed. One of these scenes is so important for the show, these sort of scenes. It shows the actual humility of people. It shows how people can misbelieve information, and over a large amount of time, a whole religion can be based over it. People's lives have been ruined over it, like the Holy Cat Wars. The hat he puts back on his head is the Holy Hat. As I mentioned in episode 1, both cat factions split up. One of them died, and the other went into space to look for Lister and to look for Fiji, but little do they know, he's actually on board. Lister tells the cat everything will be alright, that he is real, and then he dies. It's actually quite a sad scene, to be fair. It's one of the only other characters that you see on the Red Dwarf in the early series as well. Cat then reassures Lister that everything's going to be okay, and then we cut to the final scene of the show, which is actually the pod. They're going to open the pod in the observation room. Rimmer here, very excited as you could assume. Lister here is taking the piss. He thinks, he's getting so angry as well. He's like, open the pod, what is in the pod? And it's a chicken. I always thought, I don't know how good those pods are, but say 1,000,000 years ago, how could that chicken still be intact? Do you know what I mean? I always think that. It's that podded tomb. How has it kept that so intact? But yeah, he's really not happy, and then this is basically where the episode ends. It's funny because Rimmer here, even when he sees the chicken, he thinks that he still thinks it's an alien. So yeah, so as the episode finishes, I do want to go over some notable things. How you can see here, the priest is played by Noel Coleman. As I mentioned before, Toaster is John Lenahan. That the music also was by Howard Goodall. It's I love that music. So Mark Allen, graphic designer, makes the show look brilliant. And then a few more notable names I do want to mention is Donna, who I've heard in the behind the scenes is like a mother to the cast. She tells she has a go at and she's the one who sort of puts Crichton in his costume later on in the later series. I really do hope you all enjoyed this one. Please do drop a like if you do. And yeah, we'll get a new one going. We'll get episode 5 going. But the first 3 episodes are on my channel as well, so have a look through them. But yeah, peace out. It's been Pid. Respect, lads.